So I'm here with Kris Hoet to hear about blogging for Microsoft. He's in charge of relating to bloggers and new media in Europe, Middle East, Africa.
It's mainly Europe, yeah.
Mainly Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the you run a lot of blogs, 3 blogs, including one on it's 1970s Mustangs.
Well, it's sort of the 65 to 69.
Right.
So
1970s when it went downhill.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
screwed up.
But your day job is at Microsoft, relating to bloggers through new media methods. What is the main mistake that a lot of companies make in that respect?
Well, I think a lot of companies, and probably is getting less, but especially in the beginning, and still some are doing it, it's using the same mass reach, distribute tactics, and just use the blog technology or a Twitter as a technology to do so. So yeah, technically you can call it a blog because it's based on WordPress, but it's just pushing out.
So they're really using it as a broadcast technology.
Yes. And there is typically some of these corporate like Twitter accounts where you'd see it's basically just a pushing press releases or posts out. You'll never see at somebody else like replying on something, even if maybe people are.
Because who would want to read that? Who would want to listen to that?
Yeah. So, and also it's kind of fun because they always start with having followers first before they follow people. I think it's interesting if you set up a corporate account, and what's the problem in trying to follow up a few people in there as well. It gives a bit of a problem as well with trying to, especially if you're your own blog where you talk a little bit about the work that you're doing, and then trying to set up something that is a bit more corporate, and how you are yourself in your own blog and yourself on a corporate blog. And
yeah, there's a bit of an identity crisis going on here. How do you resolve that identity crisis? You are Kris, but you are Kris, a human being with a blog on Mustangs, but you're also Kris, a blogger for Microsoft.
Yeah, and on my main blog I write about what I'm doing and digital media and what's happening in the online startups, that kind of stuff. So whenever we do new releases about Windows Live or something that I think is cool about what we do in Windows, I've always been writing about it on my own blog. So should I start cross-posting it to the corporate blog, which obviously is a blog I can share with other people, which is not something I do for my own, but the corporate could be more people. Or should I only write it about there? But why change? It's always been part of.
So how do you resolve this identity crisis? Do you become Kris at Microsoft? Kris Microsoft on Twitter?
It'll be just the same as it has ever been. We just have to figure. We have a few ideas. We'll see if they work, but we have to figure out how we could sort of split the corporate, or I have to figure out how I split what we're saying on the corporate website towards what I'm saying on my own blog, and how it makes sense. And obviously, the corporate blog or whatever we're setting up is with more people, but still it's got to be clear that who they are. Though. It's not just you're not talking to the company, you're talking to.
So it's a group blog. So maybe the
Kris
contrast is you have
yeah.
Kris's personal blog, and then you have Kris as part of a corporate group blog.
Yeah, but for me it's just, and again it's maybe not a big problem, but release of Windows Live is coming up. I would definitely write about it like I've ever done, because it's probably I've been working on my own blog, and when we got that new corporate blog, I would probably write about it there as well. And how is it different, or should it be different, or can I just cross-post, or should I bring it all there? It's just a little bit of a question on how it makes sense.
How is the best way to relate to bloggers? Your job is part of it to relate to bloggers. Are they different from journalists in the way that you relate to them best?
I don't relate to a lot of journalists, so it's hard to say. Over the time, I've gotten to know a lot of the bloggers, and a lot of time when I sort of started to really get interested in what was going on with blogging, etc., 4 years ago, started to go out to a bar camp, and you're the newbie, you have no idea what's going on, but you gotta see what is, and you're talking to people, and especially a couple of years ago, you sometimes get a reaction so you're from Microsoft, but you're actually a nice guy. It's something that is I hear it less, but I used to hear it.
Why? Because you're not a nice guy anymore.
I'm not.
You used to be a nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely. You go to a girl geek dinner, you get to know people. They start up a new like an open coffee or whatever kind of event. So you'd say, why don't I take care of the drinks? And it's all getting in a very informal way. And since you've been part of the or became part of the community by just going there where things took place before enforcing anything, it's getting more normal to interact. Here at CIME or SIME, or I don't know how people pronounce this. I think they say SIME. I say CIME. We have a little bit of a blogger meeting tomorrow afternoon where some bloggers that couldn't make it to the event because of the expense will be able to still make it from that part of the day to the remainder of the day. And then hopefully, I think Dave and Joy and have said that they're very happy to come along, and I think you did as well. So and it's just going to be a open conversation. So it's not even if we sort of organize it together with CIME, it's not us doing a presentation. It's just again getting to know people, and through my own Twitter account or blogger, there is a few bloggers that I've Swedish bloggers that I've been talking to online for a while now that will just finally get to meet. So I think it's all getting in a very normal, and once you get the relationship going and once you get to know each other, you can obviously know I get to know why Neville Hobson might be interested in things that relate to mobile. So if I have something in mobile that I can talk to him in a very, whether on Skype maybe, or on Google Talk, or on Messenger, or through an email, or on Twitter, or whatever ways we've set up to communicate between each other. And it never feel like I'm pushing out just a press release, or I don't use press releases anyway, but it still is news that relates to a press release.
Right, so in other words, you would always avoid a broadcast style.
Yeah, it's always because you get to know people, that they're interested in the developer or in the platform or in mobile or in certain aspects of the business that we're in, and also sometimes you'd see a news item that is maybe not even literally in my part of the business, but you say that's something that person might be interested in, so I can talk about it. Same thing if somebody has an issue or a question about something that relates to Microsoft, even if that's not immediately within the products that I manage, they can send it to me and I'll figure out for them who needs to pick that up and answer that question.
Okay.
If I can, why
not? So look forward to seeing how this evolves over time since you started this job just
October 1st.
October 1st. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing how it evolves. This is the moment in time at the beginning of the project.
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll see it in a few years.
Well, I hope it evolves in a good way, but it will be interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.